Hi, everyone. This is Gary Berman, host of the Cyber Hero Adventures Show, bringing to you an every single recording interview at Israel Tech Week with Amit Sfarsenberg, CTO of Microsoft for Startups, and Vital Shamia, Corporate Venture and Investor Relations. Welcome to the show. What a cool mission you have.
Indeed. I think that we three of us are blessed to do stuff that we like. We like to help startups. I also teach at university and startups, AI, everything collides right now. So I'm joining, knock on wood, hope it continue forever. And with Vital,
Yeah. I think we have the best work in the world. We just like every day meet new entrepreneurs, the best mind in the world that created the future. So that's great.
Yeah, one of the coolest things about my sort of Forrest Gump journey into this ecosystem is listening to the smartest people in the world. And recently I had the pleasure of doing an interview on post-quantum cryptography. And I began the interview by saying, in the spirit of disclosure, I failed algebra twice.
So it's really creative. Even like when you talk about like skills that you know nothing, but when you speak with somebody that's so passionate about it really make you to go back home and learn and like try to be the expert in this space. So just like every day you come with a lot of ideas and you want to learn more. So I think this would keep us so passionate about what we do.
I had a funny YouTube video about quantum computing. When the lecture comes, it's a real lecture from William University. He tells the students, you will now learn for 4 weeks, and and in the end, you will not know quantum computing because nobody knows quantum computing.
Exactly.
And I will teach you everything so you can understand quantum computing. So no worries.
Unless yeah, but unless we do a comic,
Yeah,
it's a possibility to
Oh,
distill the complexity of all that stuff into something people can get their heads around. Which brings me to the presentation that I just saw that you did, which was wonderful. We'll put up a screenshot of a couple of your comics. What caused you? What prompted you to decide to do a presentation like that? And I noticed that many people in the audience were taking pictures of your screenshots.
so AI is moving so rapidly. So last week, uh, ChatGPT Image 2 went out. And I wanted to do this lecture about the problem with hardware and software in AI world and how there shortage of materials and chips. And even if you solve all this problem, you don't have enough electricity in the world. And then you need to decide who's going to get the electricity. You, GPUs, whatever. And there's a lot of materials and it was too complicated for me. I don't have a lot of time. And now I just did it on the way to the convention. Took me 15 minutes.
So, what LLM did you use?
So I used ChatGPT Image 2.
Well, that's brand new, eh? Like in
Yeah,
last 2 weeks.
yeah, exactly. So it changed my life. The ways that I want to have ideas and convey them becomes so much easier, and I can do those thought leadership. I could do it on a on a podcast, but I couldn't do it on a large scale because it's very complex. And this is the time maybe to show the image of them.
Okay, perfect. I'll tell my editor, which is me.
Yeah. So you should ask what we're talking about, but it's very complex, like how the Iran situation, China, Taiwan, everything is all related to ChatGPT and Claude, and it's much more than that. It's super complex to understand economics and the ways that you chat. But if you have comic, and if you don't, I don't know how to draw, but I know how to prompt.
So this morning, on the drive here, I ingested a brand new report from Stanford University about AI across all these very important metrics. And it was, I think, 104 pages. I don't know how many words. And at the stoplight, or between three stoplights, I had a 5-page comic that distills the key takeaways from this voluminous report. I mean, that's just nuts.
Yeah, because we're visual learners. There are people that would like to have a podcast, an audio. AI gives you the possibility to learn the way you like to learn. But I asked you a question before, and I promised to do it live. Who is the biggest cybersecurity company in the world?
Well, it's got to be a trick question.
No,
I don't know, Google.
no. Although they bought Wiz lately, which is a big cybersecurity company, but the answer is Microsoft. Yeah,
Or Microsoft.
Microsoft is doing $20 billion revenue from cybersecurity. You can Google it or Bing it, whatever. And Microsoft cybersecurity business is it's not one of, it's the biggest in the world.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, nobody knows. Basically, it's Palo Alto or whether CrowdStrike and Microsoft on the way of doing the AI, Office, GitHub, LinkedIn, Xbox is also doing a niche called cybersecurity. So this is, when you're $3 or $4 trillion company, depends on the day and time. Yeah, you have like a $20 billion business over there.
Yeah. Like, what is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's a good segue, Mital. So how did you get into cybersecurity?
So we based in Israel, as if we work for a global team, but in Israel, I would say 50 to 60% of the startup are in the cybersecurity space. So if you want to work with the best minds, you have to start learning to get to know better about cybersecurity. And actually, I'm not coming for any cybersecurity unit. Like most of the people come, but along the way, you just like start learning and you just start increasing. I think like you describe your story before, like this like situation forces you to go and learn. So we meet so many brilliant people. Like after any meeting, we go in and we learn a new space. And not only that, we also always like predicting what's gonna come next. So for that, you need to like imagine what the risk will be and think like hacker in case to understand like what technology will come and close this gap. It was more like looking at the future, looking like some kind of like the climb point of view and like predict what will you will need next.
So what is your take on mythos? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, I guess, is it more marketing or more substance? Like where would you assess mythos from what you know?
Oh, it's interesting. It's both because if article release about like predictive or like cyber attacks, so now everybody started to be more notable about that and trying to like find a solution. This is one thing. And from I would say from a CISO, from a CO point of view, you always need to protect your company because you um as you like trying to like strategy about like the resource and the people that you need, you think about your customer, your asset, and you always need to like be why how you become better. So it's really depends on the company, it really depends on the space. But I think every leader need to like think about like the full picture and understand what they need. And especially when you implement a new technology, you always need to like assess what is the risk are. So fun facts, the first time I saw virtual CISO was 4 years ago. So people started thinking like, oh, actually more relevant to small, medium business that can allow them to have this position, or they don't have enough expert that in the market that they don't have the budget to pay and they can't hire somebody to do it. So back then they started like to check if all this process can be automatic or like somebody virtual can do like half of the work. Today we get into the point that I think all VI in the moment we will speak about it is like smart enough that it can replace, of course not fully, but like maybe cover 90% or 80% of the use cases, and then like you need expert, or you can like maybe hire like external company to help you like just with a 10% in the
So SMBs in the United States, I'm not sure the number is either 9 million or 30 million. I don't remember. Do you know? It is, oh, yeah, great.
I don't know exactly the number, but it's a huge market.
Yeah, and they don't know, at least from reports that I've seen, how to even begin sort of onboarding AI. And it's another project I'm working on, a platform to help onboard AI for SMBs at scale. What do you think about that?
I think the problem is each SMB is built differently. So the virus of situation and uh, solution will be different. So it's not one solution that fit all. And as long as it started to use, let's think about like SMBs that don't have a full team of engineers and start to do like
Yeah.
use a code and other thing of like
Well,
the
the
first time.
CEO in a light bulb manufacturing company is also the head of IT, possibly. I mean,
But I did not cover the same capability. So they can know some, but like you really need the expert to look on all the asset and everything from one point of view. So I would say like now a lot of company, and I'm looking again for the SMBs as they start to implement all the AI tools and like playing with Claude and a lot of other things. And they're not last levels of risk that come with that. We also not allow every day there is a new use cases.
Indeed. So, how are you on time? So I can be respectful. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Yep. So, what is like the one takeaway that you wanted the audience here at Israel Tech Week to take away?
So I'm connected to two of the question you asked Vital about is a mythos and how SMBs can adopt AI. So I'm not a graphic designer, okay, but I did a graphic presentation. So the plan is it's not only AI, is jobs are changing right now. Everybody, if I can code yesterday, now I am a graphic designer and as I don't know what you're doing in an SMB, but you can code this way. Why coding?
Yeah.
There is a lot of cybersecurity risk and why code. The bottom line is everything is changing. And getting AI into those companies when roles are not yet defined is super difficult. And you have in a company, AI hero, who is using all the latest AI and people who don't even have ChatGPT. So the plan is how do you bridge the gap? And I think that SMBs should have like AI solutions and they don't have to be technical. They will need to have the guidance and they will have to have guardians in the company. They will have people like you who seen a lot of different use cases and can, you know, help. Like you have a fire and when you have fire and forgot how you said, like there's fires, someone in charge for if there is fire in the company. You know what I mean? Like
No.
health inspector, a security expert. You need to someone to have another expert. And you will need to work with companies from outside that will help already seen all the problems that AI can do and already vetted the ones that don't have cybersecurity risk because there are tons of AI and not all of them are very, very safe. So and just to go back to Mythos, and now you also have AI that can almost do anything.
Have you had a chance to try Mythos at all?
I can tell you something about
If you can disclose.
Mythos is only available now for governments. But when GPT-2 came out, it has the same headlines. Cybersecurity is dead. And it was not GPT-3, which operated ChatGPT 2 years ago. It was a very, very dumb AI compared to today. So I think that Mythos is a bit of a mythos and a bit of truth. Also, OpenAI just launched a week after like a dedicated cybersecurity model. Eventually, hackers will find a way where to hack your company. It's not, maybe it's better than finding, scenarios that we already know, but AI creates so many new scenarios. So it's a cat and mouse game all over again.
One of the things, just as we're wrapping up here, is I'm advising a company. I mentioned it to you. They're called Reliance.ai. And
The one,
yeah,
yes. But where is going?
I can't afford you, but if I could, I'd like to both of you.
Yeah.
Are you looking for part-time work or are you probably not? Okay. But so Reliance, I mean, how that came about was also Forrest Gump. My audience knows that story about me. But he was a retired professor, and about 5 years ago, he wrote a book entitled "Algorithms Are Not Enough." And so this is before anything, even though machine learning has been around for 60 years or whatever. So I read the book, and there were two things that came to my mind. One, I said, this man is very smart. And the second thing, he was a contrarian. He was saying things that no one else was saying. In fact, sort of the opposite about system architecture. And so I checked in with him again after like 5 years, and I said, Professor Ratcliffe, have you written another book? Because I thought it'd be cool to interview him for my show. I interview a lot of authors. And he goes, no. I said, are you retired? He goes, no. I said, well, what are you doing? He said, well, I filed, a couple of provisional patents to add a layer of truth to AI. So my head just exploded. I go, what do you mean? He started explaining. I said, okay, I'm in. He goes, you're in what? I don't know, but I'm in. this is a big idea. So I did some quick math in my head, and I said, what are the probabilities that this single man could have solved this architectural problem that billions and billions of dollars, the smartest people in the world, have not been able to fully solve, although they're making a lot of progress on things. And apparently, he did. And we just submitted a request to our first potential investor for $20 million.
No, I need to know more details.
Yeah.
Because
Well, you were just trusting me on this podcast. I mean,
I would spend Microsoft, the biggest cybersecurity company in the world, and is the largest company in model-wise. So if that's combined both of them, so wow, why it's not going to be interesting? Why?
yeah, but the thing about this is what caught my attention is it's a foundational model. It's not an application.
Right, it's models.
ChatGPT, it's a foundational model, and it doesn't replace transformers. It doesn't replace the other, the large language models. It just adds a layer of truth to the source of information.
But during the build side, you can put another layer. Is that
I know it's on the bottom of every tech stack. Right.
learn more? It sounds
Well, yeah, I'm not, what I love about this
That's cool.
thing today change everything every day. It's not like in the past. It was
Very fast.
1 year, 2 years. Yeah. So yeah, I can't afford myself not to learn more about the product.
Well, not my product. I'm just
And
advising.
that's the layer. But
But in closing, so I guess my last question is, you touched on it earlier about employment. I think I read a survey that like 80% of U.S. enterprise companies are attempting to use AI in some way. The success rate right now is pretty low, and the biggest barrier is the person. Or I hate using the word human, but people, because they're scared. I think 54% of people in this particular survey said that they're afraid of AI. How do you sort of pull people along?
I think the problem is still in the models. So if we look at the new model that came out last week, GPT 5.5, is more oriented to human tasks and operating the computer. Every employee in Meta in the United States and now have to log what he's doing. So the computer, the model will learn how to use the computer. So the part is UX, user experience. It's not the users, it's the model yet. So if you ask me, give it 2 years, 3 years from now, it will be like magic. We don't need to change the way we work. The way that we work need to, the models need to adapt to the ways that we used to work. So that's my 2 cents. It's not the humans, it's the AI. And don't get.
I think it's a combination of
Um,
AI.
Any
It's
final? Sorry.
Yeah, so company think about like, okay, the AI is they adopting AI and like lay off some of the employee, and some think, okay, right now we can do 10 times more. We need to now build a team of like both agent and employee. Now we need to know how to manage them and how to work together. So each company thinking for a different part of you, how you take this advantage and leverage your company, grow faster, you make more, serve your customer better, like make more money.
Indeed. And how does our audience get more information about some of the cool stuff you're doing?
So we have a program for startups. We actually give AI for free, OpenAI and Azure and cloud compute. You can just Google it or Bing it and look for Microsoft for Startups. All the details are here. This is our mission. Help startups who change the world. As I said in my lecture, OpenAI can last for $1 billion. We gave them. We can't give it to everyone, but do help startups change the world. Some of them are doing more than others. So just, look for Microsoft for Startups. We're doing a lot for you.
And for you?
For me, I would love to hear about any super interesting technologies that come in and trying to change the world. So happy to meet anyone who gets sounding like super excited.
Well, on behalf of a grateful digital universe, thanks so much for who you are and for what you do, and most importantly, why you do it.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
And to our audience, stay tuned for more from the Cyber Hero Adventure Show.